All right. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Off the Record. My name is Kyle Cheslock.
And the lead off the record.
And the lead off the record. A couple different working names here, but essentially at the end of the day, it'll be like normal. Myself and Chase Shields, our CEO, just kind of doing some office thoughts as we talk about here, and some of the things that the industries that we serve, face. In particular, this has been going on for a little while, maybe the last year or so, but it's really seemed to pick up steam the last. I don't want to say maybe the last 3 or 4 months. We've been hearing more and more. Talk, whether it's in lumber, whether it's in flooring, furniture, mattress, whatever it may be, it all seems to be hitting these industries at the same time, and that's, the need to recruit and retain, kind of that next generation that's coming up, the term millennial, if you will, that are part of these organizations that are starting to take over, some management roles, things of that nature, as they start heading to the late 20s, early 30s. If you're logging in here, give us a quick chat, quick write-in on Facebook here. We'd love to hear from you, answer any questions that you have. Follow our page, the Lead Tool on Facebook. We're also on Instagram and Snapchat at the Lead Tool. There's a lot of great content we push out there. But, it's one of those things that a lot of people know that they need or have interest in recruiting this talent. Everybody's always interested in talent. But the millennial generation, they're a little bit different than previous generations in terms of what they desire in their workplace. Everything from searching for purpose to coming in here and really driving culture change. Culture is a big one. Anytime you talk to a millennial, culture is going to be a really big thing, and it's really driven by your Silicon Valley types that they see online all the time with the cool throwing the balls around. The office and things of that nature, but
just the wrong culture.
Exactly, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they, are all geared towards or interested in that.
Yeah, look at that. Millennials, just to show we're not crazy.
We're not crazy. They're talking about it right there. Pro sales. I mean, you name it. A lot of different industry publications are writing about it right now. But there's something that I saw 4 or 5 years ago, in particular in the real estate industry, and how that change really affected the way organizations ran and how they recruited new talent. I mean, shoot, these went from the the business offering a job to somebody or recruiting somebody for a position to really flipping the page and having these agents really doing the interview of the company and who they want to work for. So the script has been kind of flipped, if you will, in terms of how to go about attracting these people. And today we're going to talk about some things that they're looking for, some things that you can use to attract and then ultimately retain, this top talent. They are different than previous generations, but nevertheless, they are inspired. They want purpose. They want to succeed. They want career growth, and right now they're looking at a lot of different options and variety of opportunities to achieve that. So, one of the things that keeps coming back to is technology. They grew up with this in their hand. They came out of the womb with this. They've never been a day with really out a cell phone or tablet or computer at their fingertips. So, a quick win is that if you're still operating off paper and pen, get rid of it. Throw it in the trash can. Get it out of here.
Or cash register. Because, in the same vein that, no one young wants to buy from, an antiquated, really cumbersome sales process at a business.
Yeah.
No one wants to work for one either. And since, technology has become prolific, it's everywhere. It's
every industry has it. It's changed every industry.
Yeah, it's like if we tried to recruit people without, but now granted we're in tech, but it doesn't matter because we talk to people every day who are who are saying the same stuff. Yeah, well, my younger generation is going to have this, and if I don't have this from my younger generation, I'm not going to be able to hire. And yeah, of course. They're just productivity tools that where older staff sometimes will push back and say, well, I didn't need it, and they're kind of set in their ways, and you've got a lot of leaders who aren't willing to push them to evolve. The younger generation already knows that technology is a no-brainer. They already know they need a system to remind them to stay in touch with their customers. They already know that they need to be able to swipe a credit card on a mobile device.
And to back that up, not just any technology. You know, technology's been around for a long time. I mean, Microsoft has dominated SMB since the early '90s, late '80s. You know, whatever it may be. You know, we're not talking about just
the enterprise and SMB
across the
dominated.
Board,
Across
the
monopoly.
Across the board. You know, whether it's the products they sell or the actual hardware and the computers they sell, whatever it may be. So we're not talking about just any type of technology.
We're not talking about slapping a Windows server in somewhere. We're talking about iPhones.
No. We're talking about constantly updating your technology
software.
stack.
We're talking about literally burning the Windows server that's in your back room.
Get it out.
Forget that.
Get it out.
And going to modern cloud-based technology that people who are our age, 31, 28, 29, I was going to give you the extra year.
I appreciate it.
Are going to want to use and can use from the devices that they like, because everyone, a lot of times business owners will say, well, my staff is old. Well, guess what? The really bad part is if you want to be real intense about it, they're gonna die. Yeah. But the reality is they're gonna retire. We're all gonna retire. There's gonna be a shift.
And to piggyback off that too, that's a load of crap if you tell me that your older generation or the average age of your sales force just won't use this. That's a load of crap.
Who's the badass who got it, McSwain? Marvin's
83 years old. 83 years old. This guy is taking his tablet.
I think he's 73.
73, 83. Give me 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Give me 10 years.
Well, anyway, I think Marvin would appreciate his 10.
Listen, when Marvin comes in here, I'll let him talk for himself. But until that happens, this guy is somewhere in the range of 73 to 83. And he takes a tablet with him when he goes out to measures, when he's walking around the showroom with a client. I mean, this guy is crushing it.
Yeah, his line was literally oh, this is just going to replace my notebook. Yeah. I get it. I mean, it's not so
the process isn't necessarily changing.
A lot of that comes down to leadership, but I mean, even if you rely on this total line of shit that people aren't going to use it because of age or whatever, those people are going to be out of your staff at some point in time. Mm-hmm. And small family business owners, if you're out there, I was 5th generation. Let me tell you something. If you wanted to continue, you've got to evolve. And it's your job, if you're going to be passing it on, to continue to evolve the business for the next generation.
Yeah, I think I can't remember the guy's name in the industry that we talked to, but one of the things that is really spread across the industry is that as a business owner, a small business owner, you spend so much time working in your business, you don't focus enough time working on your business, and you're kind of running around with your hair on fire, or at least it seems like that. That's when you know that you got a problem. That means you're not taking a look at your technology stack. You're letting it go 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road without updating it. Your website's probably still in 2012.
Yeah, the number of websites that we see that are copyrighted.
Crazy, absurd. It's if your website is not up to date,
that's bad for consumers or customers.
It's absurd.
And it's bad for ridiculous. Employees, because employees are doing. It's we're
that's your door. That is now your figurative door to your company.
It doesn't matter. I mean, even when we research investors, if we're looking at taking on investment, right?
Yeah.
We want to know if they look like there was some slap together. So it's well, they're not a very serious outfit. But the other thing too is I think creating a physical work environment, not just
equally important.
Just the technology is huge, right? Because your people have to have tools that they can use to help them do their job. And the younger generation already get we're just going to accept the fact, because it is a fact, that the younger generation already understands CRM. If you're going to sell, you got to have it.
POS.
Mobile payment processing.
Yeah, understand.
Whenever I hear POS,
mobile measure.
I just think piece of shit.
Yeah.
Just because it's not I think Square when I think modern payments. Swiping your card. Apple swiping.
Exactly. Being able to go out and measure a house and then have them buy from you on the spot.
Something so there's this whole, aside from the fact that your business looks totally different when people are buzzing around with iPads and stuff, and they look professional. Apple's the best example. I'm always going to go back to Apple. And it doesn't matter if you're retail or freaking like wholesale
lumberyard,
manufacturers.
doesn't matter.
We work with manufacturers. The good ones are equiping their staffs with iPads. Like it's just
it comes back to being mobile. You're
changes,
not tied to a desk anymore.
Yeah, and for and leaving that aside, like clean up your work environment.
It comes back to culture, right?
Like if you're it's like it's one thing when you're a scrappy little startup like us, like 10, 15 people, only a couple years old. But like when you're an established business that's like
15 years, 20 years,
20,
50
30,
years,
40 years,
which
whatever.
is a lot of the industry.
Yeah, which is most of the industry. Clean up, like particularly retailers, like maintain a clean showroom. Like
you don't need to have a 200 different racks of product.
Yeah,
that's a lot to take in for anyone.
It's like your website's your virtual storefront, your physical storefront is your physical storefront. It represents your business, and I think that's why I like having clean office. I mean, it doesn't have to be all glass. Everything's like contemporary, modern. Like,
no, just
like my European business partner Joachim would love it, but
sometimes the point I guess we're getting at here is sometimes less is more. When it comes to the actual showroom environment, when you walk in as a consumer,
well, whether it's a showroom, yard,
it doesn't matter.
I'm talking about even leaving the flooring stuff out, like just maintaining like a cleaner office environment, like that. And when I say clean, I mean like design wise, like not cluttered, like not I remember like when I was working for my family. I mean there were offices that were well kept, and there were areas that everything was just fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
And same like car business, the outfit I worked for, I mean, they had everything was immaculate.
Yeah.
And it made it a better place to.
Did you guys have music playing in your car environment or in the
music? So
thing.
The showrooms, the service areas. So I mean, hell, we run a TV out here for background noise. But. Yeah, I mean, we had music running through the showroom. The only time that was really awful was when the owner put Aerosmith, Janie's Got Her Gun on repeat. That was awful. Other than that, no, it was in service had the same thing. I mean,
yeah. So again, this is you're building a collaborative environment that's welcoming, not just to your consumers and the people that want to buy from you, but for your employees as well. I mean, they spend 8, 10, 12 hours a day inside those walls.
Yeah, and let's get something straight. I think the millennial generation, when it comes to working, is just garbage for the most part. So we're not saying coddle them, trust me.
No.
Because if you're a whiny I will be the first person to tell you, get the hell out of my office.
And there's a difference with that, right? There's a difference between coddling and then providing an environment that
Yeah, we don't need to have beanbag chairs and say kumbaya, but if you're asking somebody to go to war for you 10 hours a day,
we're not here to make s'mores.
Yeah, no, this is not, oh my god, I need a participation trophy. I can't separate work and my personal life.
Participation trophies, that's a whole other topic.
My dog peed in the house last night, so I'm an hour late.
We're not talking about that.
It got hard, so I decided to just work half days, like that kind of crap. Like, which, in my opinion, as a millennial, is rampant in the millennial generation. Not talking about that. No one needs those people. They're kind of, in my opinion,
you can see them from a mile away.
Yeah, forget that. So, the point is not to, build some environment where you're just, chucking technology at them. Like, oh, here's an iPhone, sweetheart. All
providing donuts every morning.
No, that's not it. It's just kind of
free lunch every day. It's not that Google type stuff.
Only, well, that's because only the companies that are, venture funded to the hilt and can lose money and never have a business model can afford to do that. The actual businesses can't do that. Which everyone listening, actual business,
Big difference.
So yeah, huge difference. Regardless, though, it's just
it's crazy when making a profit went out of style.
Yeah, no, that's a whole other topic. So and it's coming back in, and it's going to bite some people in the ass. But anyway, no, the whole just making the office environment kind of
welcoming.
Welcoming. That's it. I know when we move,
get some natural light.
When we move, natural light, because we're stuck inside all day. I don't get to trounce around a lumberyard or stomp around a showroom anymore.
Even for your outside guys at a lumberyard, equip them with some the tablet and things of that nature that help them do their jobs more efficiently.
Dan was really good at that, and we always kept everything, like, we did a pretty damn good job with all that. He was, responsible for kind of all that stuff.
Yeah.
We had the compressed air for all our machines, so we would blow everything off, clean everything up, street sweeper to clean the building, street sweeper to clean it's just nicer when life is not a mess. I think, like, even when my desk is a mess, which is what always, like, it bothers me, but, it's one of those things. But yeah, it's really easy to do. And I mean, I know that everybody who's around our age, I've talked to a handful of owners this week that are all, you've talked to a lot of the lumber people. I talked to some of the kitchen and bath with like large scale operations, 31 years old. I mean, they're all like, they all see, you guys get it. So we might have even lost you viewing this by now. But, like for anyone who's like my dad's age, 67, 67 next month.
We're terrible with age ranges right now.
Yeah, bad at math. No, it's just like setting it up to, and not that they don't know this, but I mean, hell, maybe someone's learning something. That's why we're doing this, right?
Yeah,
like,
and doing
we're not the authority, we're just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and doing things differently like that. There's not too many people doing it yet, so if you're in a marketplace that does have 2, 3, 4, 5 competitors, this is an easy way for you to set yourself apart and attract the type of talent that is in the pipeline that is just they're searching, they're looking for an opportunity to find purpose, and a lot of millennials they don't necessarily know or understand anything about the lumber industry or the flooring industry, things of that nature. Some of them might,
why would they want to work for you, right? Like,
they grow up with these things that are available, and they see what's happening at Google, they see what's happening at Facebook, they see it's all over the applications they use every day. So again, coming back to it, as a millennial, when I'm looking for an opportunity, there's a lot of purpose. There's a lot of passion within these industries, in lumber. It's a really rewarding industry for a lot of different reasons, but you got to get them in the door, and you got to get them attracted and wanting to be there, and having a decluttered space within the showroom or the yard, having maybe some light music going in the background, equipping them with the tools like iPad, iPhone, things of that nature.
Software enough. Like your salespeople, anyone who's under 35 and doesn't have a CRM, does that even exist?
Yeah,
like it's just
pipeline selling, and that even comes back to the to the end consumer.
Dude, they're training people. Who were we talking to when we were talking to interns, or somebody was talking to interns? They're getting trained on CRM in college.
Yeah. I was interviewing So I was interviewing several grads or soon to be grads from a university here in town called Xavier, and I was kind of blown away in terms of getting into CRM, and they already had familiarity with it. And, I got to diving into the questions and talking to him. This is a 21-year-old kid, mind you. And he's telling me about what the CRM can do for him as a salesperson to equip him with the tools necessary to learn the craft.
Yeah, so
21 years old.
For everyone we talk to that tells us you need more leads and you need this and you need that and you don't need CRM, this generation is going to tell you that you actually need the CRM first, just like we do. That is the one thing we are an authority on, because the lead generation and no CRM just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic. But everyone who's young knows that productivity tools like CRM, like Slack, which is inter-office communication.
Just had a conversation today about inter-office communication.
Slack is awesome.
Best product I've seen.
Slack's incredible for that. I'm trying to think of all the other tools. I mean, they're, Google, what do they call it now? G Suite.
G Suite, yeah.
So you got, interactive spreadsheets, and I know there's Office 365, but I don't really like Microsoft.
Yeah.
They make everything harder in tech, so.
If that is your cup of tea, but, at the end of the point is updating your technology stack to reflect the environment we now live in.
Just provide useful tools, I think, is what, most people are looking for.
And exactly, and again, coming back to it, good cheap wins or introducing some music in there, getting some modern technology, put it into the program from a hardware standpoint. Whether it is iPads or whatever. Microsoft Surface is a large flooring dealer in the middle of the country, huge operation, equipped everybody with Microsoft Service tablets.
Yeah, look, there's nothing wrong with it. It's all personal preference and
personal
kind of
preference
what you're running. But
at the end of the day, you got to start. First of all, you got to do something. If you keep putting it off, it's going to be too late. And at the end of the day, you want to attract the next generation that's going to be.
Well, how many? I mean,
go to war for you.
How many tools do we have in here? We have a personalized email automation tool. We have a mass email automation tool that comes with a full marketing automation stack. So those are two separate things.
G Suite.
Yeah, we have G Suite. We've got Slack. We've got the Lead tool, which is our CRM. We've got Intercom, which is running all our support and our user notifications.
LinkedIn.
We all have the.
So the point. I mean, we about 2 hands worth of applications we use now. Most of you won't necessarily need some of these apprapplications that we use internally, but the point is, and we look at and update our technology stack on a rolling basis. Because technology innovates and iterates at such a fast clip, you can't just plug and play it on your server in the back room anymore. You just can't do that.
Well, and that's so inefficient. I think that's the other thing is all these vendors that are out there, that haven't. We had a conversation today with an industry software vendor who's awesome, but we were talking about some of the others, and it's getting harder and harder every day for a lot of these. For those of you who have industry-specific software that's locally installed and that maybe you've had for a long time, the longer those vendors wait to move to the cloud and move to kind of more mobile-friendly stuff and basically refactor, a lot of what they've done, that gets harder every single day. I run our product. I run our product team. I can tell you how hard it is to stay on top of what we're doing, to think about having to go from, and how much harder it's going to get. I look at how technology's evolved over the last 3 years since we had our minimum viable version of the Lead tool. And we already ripped that out, threw it away, and rebuilt it. So within 2.5 years of actually starting the first product, we've already ripped out, and when I say ripped out, I mean we threw everything away and built something new. So for these legacy vendors, the longer they wait, it's just holding you back. And there are great alternatives out there to every single software that anyone has.
Yeah, anything you're doing. Throw a dart, point you in the direction of somebody that can do it.
But. And the longer that these companies wait, they're just holding you back, and it's getting harder for them every day. The market is way ahead of business software in general, particularly as it relates to industry-specific type stuff. I would say probably healthcare might be the farthest along in terms of having actual cloud-based applications, but otherwise, pick your industry: manufacturing, distribution, retail. The auto business has it, but
and the good point with this, as we talk a lot about technology and things, they hear, in all these different industries that have innovated and adopted this, and some further along than others and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, this all goes into supporting the actual face-to-face interaction. It's not there designed to necessarily replace that familiar one-on-one interaction with working with a consumer in the store. It's about making the process more efficient.
Yeah, that's what everything does. That's why we have email automation that can send out 1,000 emails a day. It's why we have all that stuff, because the idea is to get to the face-to-face or the on the phone at the very least as quickly as we possibly can.
And we want to talk about efficiencies, right? The last thing millennials want to do is more work. They want to work smarter, not necessarily harder. So enabling them with tools to do that and creating a more efficient process it's key. It's absolutely key. And one of the great things about being able to connect the dots and things of that nature, you're going to be able to show those tools off to whoever you're recruiting, whoever you're bringing in through your doors, as you're going through these. And if they're interviewing with any of your peers in town, they're going to know right off the bat that you guys aren't, the same average Joe across town, that you guys are innovative, that you support your people. Not saying that you haven't always supported your people. It's just that, it's different in today's time.
It sends a stronger message.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you're equipping them with the tools necessary to compete for today's consumer. And today's consumer is different. And that's really what it all comes back to. Creating an environment inside of your showroom or on your yard, in your store, whatever it may be, that is not only attractive for the retail customer, but it's attractive for your employees. They're there 8 to 10 hours a day, doing those things, updating your technology stack, playing some music in the background, being able to empower them with some decision making is another huge one for millennials. They want career growth, they want to learn, they have this uncanny thirst for acquiring knowledge. Millennials, it's one of the most highly educated generations that have come through yet, and they have a desire for knowledge, so throw a book at them.
Well, I think some of them do, some of them don't. I'm not that bullish on this generation. The great ones, yes.
Work ethic, maybe so, but statistically speaking, this is the most highly educated generation we've ever had.
So they might know a lot about 90s hip-hop, but they might not really want to work hard.
Sure. And that's what you're there. That's what you're there to whip them into shape. But at the end of the day, it's about attracting those people in, right? So, weed those up. The people out that aren't going to do that. But at the end of the day, they have a thirst for knowledge, and this is how you bring them in, and make it an attractive place for them to work.
On that note, we've been yapping. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more stuff coming. We're talking about transitioning, I probably want to review at some point that blog post.
Yeah.
Easy ways to get people from the website to the showroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whole bunch of other stuff.
A whole bunch of other stuff we're working on. If there's anything you guys want to know, want to talk about, chat at us in our Facebook Live post.
Yeah, even if it's what's starting a tech company.
Anything and everything.
How awesome is it? Or how not awesome is
right?
it?
Ups and downs. So, but chat at us, get at us. Follow us on Facebook, The Lead Tool. Follow us on Snapchat and Instagram at The Lead Tool. Otherwise, thanks everybody for checking us out and joining us today. Hopefully you got a couple takeaways as Chase knocks that down.
Excellent.
From that point on, cheers, and we'll talk soon.
It's a beautiful face, Kyle.
I know.